You know me. You know my heart. Ask yourself, do I look like a radical socialist with a soft spot for rioters? Really?
Former Vice President Joe Biden breaking his silence on urban violence, now the top issue on the campaign trail. Both he and President Trump have addressed the growing problem this week, but with very different approaches. Each candidate blaming the other and his party for the unrest. Are the strategies resonating with voters? Let's bring in Howard Kurtz, Fox News media analyst and host of Media Buzz. It's interesting, Howard, because as I read your column in foxnews.com, you point out that no matter what the issue is, Joe Biden kind of leans on his familiarity. In other words, saying, whatever Trump says bad about me, you know me better than that, right?
Right. I mean, this is a guy who's been in politics for 47 years. It's his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. People know Uncle Joe, Amtrak Joe. And so when he asked that question in the speech in Pittsburgh, you really think I'm a socialist who's soft on rioting? He's saying, come on, folks, this is all malarkey, to use a Biden phrase. On the other hand, the fact that he's been around so long, it means he's got plenty of baggage, means he's got a controversial record for the president to shoot at. And what we have here is the president wanting to get Biden onto his turf, the law and order turf, making him talk more about urban violence, cities run by Democrats, and not about the coronavirus, which the Biden campaign would love to make the top issue.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to play this soundbite from President Trump talking about the violence and then get your response on the other side of it. Watch.
We should talk about the kind of violence that we've seen in Portland and here and other places. It's tremendous violence. You may have protesters, but you have some really bad people, too. You have anarchists, and you have the looters, and you have the rioters. You have all types. You have agitators.
Yeah, see, both the candidates are pointing the finger at the other one, right? But as you said earlier, Howie, the thing here is, you know, the president loves this battle. This is his turf. He wants Joe Biden to come over and talk about the violence in American cities because he thinks it's a winner. Anytime you want to say that violence is Trump's fault and it's happening in Democratic cities, controlled by Democrats, both in mayoral and the gubernatorialships, the whole idea of this is, look, come over on my turf and we'll fight.
Yeah, a lot of this is base politics. And when Joe Biden has a new ad now denouncing violence in cities, he is playing on the president's turf, although he's giving a speech later today, as you mentioned, about COVID-19 in schools, trying to get back onto his preferred turf. But look, the president prefers to talk about agitators and anarchists and looters and rioters, and even suggesting that the Trump supporter in Portland who was charged with homicide in those two fatal shootings may have been acting in self-defense. Joe Biden prefers to talk about racial injustice and police misconduct, and, you know, went a whole convention without obviously mentioning the riots. And so it really is a clash of cultures, and it has a lot, I think it will have a lot to do with the outcome of this election, because it is such a visceral issue. If people don't feel safe, if they don't feel their families are safe, almost every other issue becomes secondary.
Yeah, I also found it interesting that you said, you know, at the same time, the president is kind of back to his old ways. I want to put this on the screen. You quote here, as for Trump, he is again going full blast on controversial comments and tweets that he had been disciplined enough to put on hold during last week's convention. Howie.
Yeah, I mean, the President of the United States was very disciplined last week because the Republican convention, which was well produced, had a lot of women and African Americans to paint a picture of, to borrow a campaign phrase from an earlier Republican president, a kinder, gentler Trump. And now that that is over with, he's obviously not only hammering away at the law and order issue, which is obviously a perfectly legitimate issue, but he's retweeting controversial videos. He's on the attack again. He's insulting certain people. Not any surprise there. This has been the president's style, an aggressive style that works for him, at least with his supporters. But it's just interesting that, as Politico put it, he's back to being Twitter Trump as opposed to convention Trump.
It's also interesting because we talk a lot about, you know, we're teasing ahead saying, you know, the coronavirus number is actually looking better these days. And it's a big topic, as you said. You know, you got 180,000 Americans dead. It's a big topic, but it's starting to kind of lose a little bit of its steam, Howie. And people wonder if the economy starts and continues going up and the coronavirus numbers continue going down, then it becomes problematic for the Democratic Party, and you may hear and see a lot less of this attack on Trump for coronavirus, or no? What's your thought on that?
I don't think the Democrats are letting this issue go. They will play the tape of the early Trump saying it's going to go away. It's not a problem. It'll be gone by April. It'll be gone by summer. Look, if the coronavirus numbers continue to go down, the economy continues to bounce back, that would be good for the country. Let's say that first of all. Forget about politics for a moment. Right. But with schools reopening and now some schools having to close or change their plans because of COVID-19, potentially being exposed to a whole hundreds of thousands or millions, I should say, of students, I don't think it's going to fade as a political issue. And I don't think the Biden campaign, as much as it is playing defense now on the question of urban violence, wants it to fade.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Howard Kurtz, good to see you. Thank you.